Hello and greetings to everyone. We are going to continue from where we ended last time. We are going to take C. For C, we have equivalent fractions. So what are equivalent fractions? When we talk of equivalent fractions, we are simply referring to fractions that represent the same amount. Two or more fractions are said to be equivalent if they represent the same amount. We call such fractions I'll write this to represent equivalent fractions. That's how we call such fractions. E.g., example given, a half is equivalent to 2/4. That means these two fractions they represent the same amount. The next 5/25 is equivalent to 1/5. The next 6/12 is equivalent to 3/6. That means they represent the same amount. Now let's take this point to obtain the equivalent fractions. So obtain the equivalent fractions of any given fraction, we either multiply or divide both the numerator and the denominator of the given fraction by the same this is an E, the same positive whole number. Let's take this example. Find an equivalent fraction of each of the following. For A, we have the fraction 1 over 2 half. For B, we have the fraction 3 over 7. And for C, we have the fraction 1 over 10. Make solution. For A, we need an equivalent fraction for the fraction a half. For us to get an equivalent fraction for a half, we are going to multiply both the numerator and the denominator by any positive whole number of our choice. A positive whole number should be different from the number 1. And multiply both the numerator and the denominator by the number 4. 1 times 4 all over 2 times 4. So this will give us 1 times 4 remains 4 all over 2 times 4 gives us 8. We conclude, therefore, fraction 4 over 8 is equivalent to the fraction a half. That means they represent the same amount. We go now to B. For B, we have the fraction 3 over 7. In this case, we are going to multiply both the numerator and the denominator by the number 2. 3 times 2 all over 7 times 2. This will give us 6 all over 14. Then we conclude, therefore, the fraction 6 over 14 is equivalent to the fraction 3 over 7. They represent the same amount. We go now to C. We have the fraction 1, 10. We are going to multiply both the numerator and the denominator in this case by 10. So 10 times 10. This will give us 1 times 10 gives 10. 10 times 10 gives 100. Therefore, ten over 100 is equivalent to 1 over 10. So you notice that for any given fraction, we have an infinite number of equivalent fractions of that fraction. We take note of that. Now let's go to D. D, simplifying fractions. Simplifying fractions. Again, for example, we can be given the fraction 10 all over 100. After performing all the necessary simplifications, we will obtain 1 all over 10. Now let's write this down. A fraction is said to be in its simplest or lowest form. Underline this with the red pen. Simplest or lowest form when both the numerator and the denominator of the fraction numerator and the denominator of the fraction have no common factor in bracket, that is the HCF, the highest common factor of the numerator and the denominator of the fraction is 1. When the highest common factor of the numerator and the denominator of any fraction is 1, the fraction is said to be in its simplest form. For example, the fractions 1 over 2 we have 1 over 3, 2 over 3, 5 over 6, 3 over 7, and 15 over 29. There are some few examples are in their simplest forms. If we look for the HCF of 1 and 2, it is 1. HCF of 1 and 3, 1. The HCF of 15 and 29 is 1. They are all in the simplest form. Next, now to express any given fraction, in its simplest form, we follow the steps below. The first one, we find the highest common factor of the numerator and the denominator. That's the first. The second, we divide both the numerator and the denominator by the highest common factor, the HCF. We take example. Express the following fractions in their simplest forms. For E, we have 12 all over 40. For B, we have 125 all over 300. Take a solution. E, we have 12 over 40. The first thing, we need to start by finding the HCF of the numbers 12 and 40. 12 is at the numerator, 40 is at the denominator. We know the HCF of 12 and 40. If we apply our knowledge of HCFs, we are going to obtain this HCF as 4. For us to simplify this fraction, we are going to divide both the numerator and the denominator by the HCF, which is 4. 12 divided by 4 all over 40 divided by 4. So this will simply be equal to, 12 divided by 4 gives us 3. 40 divided by 4 gives us 10. 3 over 10 is the simplest form of the fraction 12 all over 40. We go now to B. For B, we have 125 all over 300. First, we need to start by finding the HCF of 125 and 300. This HCF will simply be 25. If we apply the methods of prime factorization, we saw all this under topic 6, number patterns. Here, this will give us, we are going to divide both the numerator and the denominator by 25. So this will simply be equal to, if we divide 125 by 25, we are going to obtain 5. We divide 300 by 25, it gives us 12. Therefore, 5 over 12 is the simplest form of the fraction 125 over 300. We end by taking exercises for application. Question 1 goes give an equivalent fraction. Give an equivalent fraction of each of the following fractions. A, we have the fraction 2/3. For B, we have the fraction 7 over 9. For C, we have the fraction 13 over 25. We go to question 2. Question 2, express the following fractions to the simplest. Let the following fractions to the simplest forms. For E, we have the fraction 33 over 44. For B, we have the fraction 70 over 12. For C, we have 81 over 243. Go to question 3 now. Y all over 35 is an equivalent fraction of 4 over 7. So find the value of y. Question 4. Given that 40 over x is equal to 120 over 4. Find the value of x. Take solution. Question 1 says if an equivalent fraction of each of the following fractions. The first one we have for A, we have 2/3. For us to get an equivalent fraction of 2/3, we are going to multiply both the numerator and the denominator by any positive whole number of our choice. The positive whole number should be different from 1. We can make use of the whole number 5. 2 times 5, the numerator, over 3 times 5, the denominator. This will be equal to 10 all over 15. Then we conclude. Therefore, 10 over 15 is equivalent to 2 over 3. We go to B. For B, we have the fraction 7 over 9. In this case, we can multiply both the numerator and denominator by 2. 7 times 2 over 9 times 2. This will give us 7 times 2 gives 14. 9 times 2 gives us 18. Therefore, 14 over 18 is equivalent to 7 over 9. We're going to also see, for C we have the fraction 13 over 25. In this case, we are going to multiply both the numerator and the denominator by 4. If you take 13 times 4, we are going to obtain 52 all over 25 times 4 gives us 100. Then we conclude. Therefore, 52 over 100 is equivalent to 13 over 25. Next, now we go to question 2. Question 2 says express the following fractions to the simplest forms. For E, we have 33 over 44. First thing, we need to start by finding the HCF of 33 and 44. Here, the HCF will simply be equal to 11. We are going to divide both the numerator and the denominator by 11. 33 divided by 11, 44 divided by 11. And this will give us 33 divided by 11 gives us 3. 44 divided by 11 gives us 4. 3/4 is the simplest form of the fraction 33 over 44. We go now to question B. For question B, we have 70 over 12. HCF 70 and 12 is simply equal to 2. We are going to divide both the numerator and the denominator by 2. 70 divided by 2 over 12 divided by 2. 70 divided by 2 gives us 35 over 12 divided by 2 gives us 6. 35 over 6 is the simplest form of the fraction 70 over 12. We go now to C. For C, we have the fraction 81 over 243. First, we need to start by finding the HCF of the two numbers 81 and 243. We know 81 is a factor of 243. 81 times 3 gives us 243. So the HCF will simply be 81. We're going to divide both the numerator and the denominator by 81. This will simply be equal to 81 divided by 81 gives us 1. 243 divided by 81 gives us 3. So 1/3 is the simplest form of the fraction 81 all over 243. We go now to question 3. Question 3, we have y over 35 is an equivalent fraction of 4 over 7. Find the value of y. Y over 35 is an equivalent fraction of 4 over 7. We have to find the value of y. First thing, for us to find the value of y, we need to express this denominator of the fraction y over 35, which is 35, as a product of 7 and a positive whole number. We know 35 can be written as 7 times 5. It simply means for us to get an equivalent fraction of 4 over 7, you will see 4 over 7 is in the simplest form because the HCF of 4 and 7 is 1. We are simply going to multiply both the numerator and the denominator of the fraction 4 over 7 by 5. This will give us 4 times 5, which is 20 all over 7 times 5, which is 35. You can see here 20 over 35 is an equivalent fraction of 4 over 7. That means 20 over 35 is equivalent to 4 over 7. That means they represent the same amount. Therefore, we can conclude now, therefore, y will simply be equal to 20. Go to question 4. For question 4 goes, given that 40 over x is equal to 120 over 4, find the value of x. 40 over x is equal to 120 all over 4. We are required to find the value of x. Now, for us to get the value of x, we need to start by expressing 120 at the numerator of the fraction 120 over 4 as a product of 40 and a positive whole number. We know 120 is equal to 40 times, if we multiply 40 by 3, it gives us 120. Next, we need to express 4 at the denominator here as a product of a number and 3. If we multiply a certain number by 3, it gives us 4. If we multiply, for example, the number 4 over 3 by 3, 3 will cancel 3 here. We'll be left with 4. So we can write the fraction 120 over 4 as 40 times 3 all over 4 thirds times 3 as such. Now if we simplify this and this will go, we'll be left with 40 all over 4 thirds. That means the fraction 40 over 4 thirds is an equivalent fraction of 120 all over 4. It is very easy now for us to get our x. We have 120 over 4 is the same as 40 over 4 thirds, which is the same as 40 all over x. Now if we compare 40, 40, x will simply be 0.4, x will simply be 4 thirds. And we are done with the correction of the exercise for application. If in case you have any worries, make sure to ask your questions at the comment section. Please, you do well to like the video and to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thank you very much for watching.